Yo.
Hello, friends. Tex and Ads here with you for our weekly market update. I wish there was a little bit more to report on, but it hasn't been the best market for traders who are looking for upside swings ads. We've kind of been consolidating in this point for a little bit of time now. And I think as it kind of stands right now, we're really just looking for a breakout on either side of this range. We really are sitting more so in the midpoint of this, let's say 32.9 zone to 44.7 zone. And we need
Yep.
either a break below 30, let's say 35, 34, to give us an understanding as to whether we come back and we retest, let's say, this diagonal zone, because we can see we've had this original low, then we had a higher low. And are we looking for something to touch this trend line and slowly grind and continue up towards, I guess originally it would be back up towards this sort of 30, let's say 38 to 40K zone, and ultimately back up to the top of this demand, but as a supply rather. But as it stands right now, I'm not seeing anything in this market that gives me an idea either way of where we're headed.
Yep. To be honest, I've been, reiterating this in the Discord this afternoon a few times, in which we're really just hanging around this level of demand without real purpose, I guess, in sense of the direction. And because of that, or the result of that, is the volume that's really being displayed there, in the sense of we're not making inroads into the upside or the downside because we don't have any buying pressure or selling pressure to really give us a base or a premise on, or anything to base anything off, which we're observing on our oscillators, even the steamroller and the RSI. The RSI more notably is underneath the 50, so that's okay. Gives us a somewhat decent indication of which direction the market is trending in. And of course this is isolated to just the 4 hour, and there's nothing surprising there, in which we're trending under the 50 in the bearish territory. We could probably very easily see that. And in the sense of our level of demand, like I did say in the Discord earlier, you can only expect so much from a level of demand, especially on something that's of low quality and on the 4 hour time frame, as opposed to the macro scale of things. In suggestion of, is it going to break the next time that we're going to see that level? And it's probably a good assumption that it probably will. I guess we've made the level down here at 37. We've tested it once, multiple times to the left hand side, almost broken through a second time, and of course we're sitting on the level now. So not a whole lot of confidence. It requires probably some irrational volume injection at this level to push us higher, if I'm completely honest. And then that will be a premise for the upside if we're going to see that. But if I'm to say personally which way I think it's going to be, I think my suggestion would be alongside yours, bro. And I think we might see that lower extremity, if not, thereabouts, could be, the lower range at our daily level of demand.
Yeah, well, I think the conclusion from both of us is that we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
see any massive upside at this particular time. We're consolidating within this range between this 38 and 23 fib level. Been great for scalpers. If you're short time frame trader, absolutely has been grand for you. But yeah, definitely, I think the next logical conclusion to make is that, yeah, a retest of that trend line would be like, maybe let's say the first step of understanding, more downside, and from there we'll assess. But a sweep of that 33K zone certainly, I don't think is off the cards as of yet, if we cannot hold that zone as it stands at the moment. But we've got to look. We've got gold at all-time highs. We've got
Yeah, yeah.
oil at all-time highs. We've got massive instability in terms of supply. We're now looking at massive increases in everyday living worldwide because of just how serious Russia and they are at providing natural gas, oil to the world. Things are just are on a knife's edge at the moment, politically, financially, emotionally for a lot of people. So, at this stage, I don't think trading is a huge emphasis for a lot of people at the moment. And we can see, towards the tail end, at least, of bull runs, that we do need to put a focus on retail involvement in this space. Yes, there's plenty of institutions and there's multimillionaires and people that will undoubtedly be accumulating and doing things here, but we need a bit of hype as well around BTC. And even though we've had some really strong fundamental arguments for BTC and crypto as of late, and we're seeing more institutional involvement, we definitely can't discount the importance of retail traders as well. And the interest is just not there. If you're looking online on Facebook and Twitter at the moment in particular, it's dead. Like, there's no one talking about crypto at the moment. When they are, it's negative. So, at the moment, let's just sit on our hands. You can stake, you can farm, you can do all these other things in the interim. You can learn. So go to unitytradinggroup.com and you can learn lots of stuff. Come into the Discord and ask us. But yeah, the interest and the volume just isn't there to signify any massive upside runs at the moment, man. That's the short of the long of it.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. And, it just comes down to, like you said, the economic situation in the world. It comes down to political situation, and it just comes down to the time that the market has arrived in, and then of course you've got those added pressures on top of that. So I think you're 100% correct, and that's not helping the volume at all. And I don't think it will for quite some time. If I'm completely honest, I think it's going to be
totally
a long ride.
I totally agree with that. And I did post a YouTube video a couple of weeks ago saying that March was going to be a bit of a rough month. I thought we probably would see a little more volatility perhaps at the moment, but let's just continue buying our time, because patience pays. It's done this over the last 10 years, certainly since most of us who got in this market in like 2015, 16, 17, 18, whatever it is. We're not, I think now as far more rational traders, we understand the situation and we realize we don't need to be in a trade. We can sit on our hands, we can dollar cost average in, we can wait for new lows and double down on positions if that's the way that you want to trade. I'm not saying anyone should trade any particular way, but certainly we're a lot more patient than what we were, 5-6 years ago when we got into this.
Oh, without a doubt. I've been accumulating for quite some time. I've been, biding my time. I've still got money sitting on the sidelines, all that good stuff, and very happy to see this out, regardless of which direction it decides to go from here. Honestly, if we decide to go down, cool. If we decide to go up, then some of the positions that I've accumulated along the way will, get released. It just comes down to your plan, and you've got to accommodate for either direction. That's just the truth, because at the moment there is no clear indication of that direction.
No. And if anyone tells you otherwise, send us the link, because I'd like to know how they're seeing this market. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at F. Pretty much the same situation for F at the moment. We are kind of in this triangle formation for F. We have broken, let's say, I guess, like this local trend line. But what I'm also, that's the next thing that I was about to draw up. We've got this. If we just go back to, that's all right. So like if I just annotate there, we've kind of got like this that we were looking at, and then my next port of call was this. So I think like a test of this region and the bottom of this triangle, around that sort of 2300 mark, I think is the next logical step for me. We can see that this is a pretty well respected triangle formation, even though that we've had sort of wicks to the downside where I'd be more inclined to draw it with a little bit less of a wick, something's a little bit more organic, if you will. But as it stands right now, this is a pretty valid formation. In my opinion, I think on the daily time frame, we definitely have a little bit more clarity, I suppose, as to where we are with F in terms of a bullish or a bearish environment. RSI still very much pointing down. Below that 50 RSI, we are not making anything significant in terms of higher highs as of yet. We're still just kind of making that same formation as BTC, where we're making higher lows and we're still making lower highs. So as it stands at this point, this is the formation that we're kind of looking for to ping pong in there before we either make a decision as to whether we head back up towards this supply zone or we come back down to retest these lows and these wicks around that 2200 mark. But for me right now, again, still in the mid range of like this point, basically, we're kind of like stuck right in the middle. So I need to see something like this. I can't call it at the moment. If I had to say it would be down.
And that's just the sentiment as well, in relation to the whole market, relation to BTC, relation to the volume. That is the direction that is that's being presented. However, don't be fooled, I guess, in relation to this sort of thing, because a lot of the time in the past, and I know the past doesn't repeat, but it does definitely rhyme. In relation to this, when we have seen a lot of people or traders in general call for lower extremities, most of the time, or some of the time, it does move to the opposite direction, and of course, missing the boat and all the rest of it. So, like I said, circling back to the beginning, or circling back to what I said at BTC, what Ty said at BTC, accommodate for both scenarios.
Yeah, totally. And I'm just charting things up on the daily time frames here myself on my chart, and it's I think really just at this point you really just need to take it one day at a time. I don't think you can make over exaggerated estimates as to where you think things are going, because I don't think anybody really knows at this point. We're in a very unique macro global economic situation at the moment. Things are like we said, things are very tense. Oil is going to dictate price rises across the board, cost of living. There certainly won't be any sort of stimulus package, and we've got things kind of not looking great over in the States in terms of what they're doing. We did post late last week a video of Ray Dalio talking about the New World Order, and then how history is often repeated, where he looks at like the Dutch trade, and then he looks at the French Revolution, and then he looks at the tensions between, let's say, the Western world, US, and the rest of the world. You've got emerging powers like China coming in now. There is certainly, I think, a shift taking place in terms of the superpowers of the world, and how trade is going to be set after all these things that occur. Is there going to be more reliance now on local goods and local production of oil or gases and things for the United States, and the same thing here for Australia? 70% of the world gets their gas and oil from Russia. So how will things change, and how will the economics of a country and its resources need to change, and how, most importantly, how that impacts everyday people like you and I, the cost of living, wage growth, all those sorts of things. How is that going to be dented by what's happening at the moment? And for, like I said, for a lot of people, cryptocurrency just isn't the focus at the moment. I think survival is for most people. So, it's a pretty grim state of affairs at the moment. There's not much positive about it, but we're here, we're doing our thing. We're still showing up for you every single day. But yeah, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts below in the comments as well. Do you have an understanding, a thought of where things are going to go? Are you trading actively? Certainly a lot of people we talk to in the Discord at the moment are really busy with life, as Ads and I are, with our own personal things and lots of stuff. So, interesting time. Let's just take it day by day and see what happens.
Absolutely. And, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back from the charts. It really is not something that should dictate your life in general. I guess it's a wealth building exercise for us in general, in which we won't be looking at living off something like this for the foreseeable future, but it is something that we're building for the foreseeable future. So I encourage people to employ the same sort of mindset, because it does work and it is realistic.
Yeah, and I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now, we held a masterclass with some of our mastermind guys talking about passive income strategies, and we spoke about diversifying assets and looking at different streams of income, whether it be trading cryptocurrency, whether it be investing into property or an e-commerce business or products, or leveraging your talents and skills as a substitute teacher, or lots of different things. And you look at what Robert T. Kiyosaki says in Rich Dad Poor Dads about the 4 quadrants of being an employee, a manager, a business owner, all those types of things. And this is where this all comes to play. You've got to have cryptocurrency, which should not, in my opinion, ever be the sole emphasis of wealth generation or whatever it is. Yes, many people will strike it rich or get lucky, I think is probably the better term to use, but you've got to look at other things outside. You've got your day job, which then funds your trading lifestyle. It might fund your other interests, like building an e-commerce business or product development, like what it is for me. How I'm developing things, creating patents. So you've got to have many different things going at the moment, because when one thing like this is simmering, you should have other things on the boil ready to capitalize on, make the most of. And again, Ray Dalio says that well when he talks about diversifying your income streams or what you're investing in. So that's pretty much as it stands for me, man. Not much going on at the moment. Let's just continue to see what happens. We'll continue to show up for you every single day. Join us in the Discord, unitytradinggroup.com, all that good stuff. And we'll keep bringing it for you guys every day.
Cool.
I think that sums it up quite nicely. Come to the Discord, hit that subscribe button, leave your thoughts. We'll see you on the next UTG market update.
Catches.
Bye.